Do you want to speak English like a native speaker? Try shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a native speaker and repeating exactly what they say. This will help you sound more natural. During the story, feel free to pause and repeat the sentences after me. It's a great way to practice and improve your English. Now let's begin. But pay close attention, because this story might change the way you see the world. Chapter 1. A Silent Presence. Nobody noticed him, nobody knew his name, but one day, everything changed. Kevin was just another face in the crowd. He walked through the school hallways unnoticed, sat in the back of the classroom, and never spoke unless necessary. But if you paid close attention, you would see something different about him. Kevin had a habit of helping others quietly, without expecting anything in return. He would pick up a dropped pencil and place it back on the desk before anyone realized. He would push a forgotten lunchbox closer to its owner so they wouldn't go hungry. If a chair wobbled, he'd fix it after class. No one ever said thank you. No one even seemed to realize Kevin was there, but that didn't bother him. He didn't help people for attention. He did it because it felt right. Until one day, something unexpected happened. A problem so big that no one in the classroom could ignore it. And for the first time, all eyes were on Kevin. Chapter 2. The Problem No One Could Solve. It started as a normal morning at school. Students chatted, teachers prepared their lessons, and the bell rang as usual. But something was different. In the middle of the classroom, a large poster had fallen from the wall. It was an important school project full of photos, notes, and hard work from the entire class. The problem? The poster was now torn, crumpled, and covered in dirt. "Oh no," someone gasped. The students gathered around, staring at the mess. The teacher frowned. "We need to fix this before the school presentation," she said. "Does anyone have an idea?" Silence. Some students tried to smooth the paper, but it ripped even more. Others suggested using glue, but the pieces didn't fit properly. No one knew what to do. Then, a voice spoke from the back of the room. "I can fix it." The class turned around. It was Kevin. For the first time, people looked at him not just as the quiet kid in the back, but as someone who had a solution. Kevin walked up to the poster, examined the damage, and took a deep breath. He knew exactly what to do. But would the others trust him? Chapter 3. Kevin's Unexpected Talent. Everyone watched as Kevin knelt beside the torn poster. He reached into his backpack and pulled out a small, neatly organized kit full of tape, scissors, and colored paper. "Kevin, are you sure you can fix it?" the teacher asked, raising an eyebrow. Kevin nodded. "I fix things all the time at home," he said. "I think I can do this." Some students exchanged glances. Kevin was always quiet, always sitting in the back, always alone. No one really knew much about him. But now, all eyes were on him. With steady hands, Kevin began his work. He carefully lined up the torn edges, securing them with invisible tape. He used the colored paper to patch the missing spots, making them look like part of the original design. He even adjusted the photos, pressing them down gently so they stayed in place. Minutes passed. The room was silent. Then he stepped back. "It's done," he said. The class moved closer, examining the poster. It looked perfect, not just repaired, but almost better than before. "Wow," one student whispered. The teacher smiled. "Kevin, this is incredible." For the first time, Kevin felt something different. A warmth in his chest. People weren't just looking at him, they were seeing him. But he wasn't used to attention. Would this change anything? Chapter 4. A New Kind of Attention. The next day at school, something strange happened. As Kevin walked into the classroom, people looked at him differently. They nodded, smiled, even whispered his name. "Hey, Kevin," one student called. "Nice job on the poster," another said. Kevin wasn't sure how to react. Usually he just walked to his seat, unnoticed, but today felt different. During lunch, a few classmates invited him to sit with them. He hesitated for a moment, then sat down. "So, how did you learn to fix things like that?" a girl asked. Kevin shrugged. "I do a lot of projects at home. My dad is a carpenter, so I help him sometimes." "That's so cool," another student said. "I wish I could do that." For the first time, Kevin felt included. People were talking to him, asking him questions, listening. But deep inside, a small voice whispered, "What if this doesn't last? What if they forget about you tomorrow?" The thought made him nervous. He had spent so long being invisible. Was it really possible to change? At that moment, a teacher walked by and pinned something on the wall. It was a list for the upcoming school competition. "Attention, students," she announced. "We need a team for the design contest. If you're interested, sign up here." Kevin's classmates turned to him. "You should do it, Kevin," one of them said. His heart raced. Join a team? Work with others? Be in the spotlight again? He had never done anything like that before. Could he really do it? Chapter 5. The Big Decision. Kevin stared at the sign-up sheet. His name wasn't there. "Come on, Kevin," a boy encouraged. "You're the best at this." Kevin hesitated. He had never been part of a team before. He liked working alone, no pressure, no expectations. But now people believed in him. That was new. His fingers tightened around his pencil. "What if I mess up?" he thought. "What if I'm not good enough?" He glanced around. His classmates were waiting, hopeful. Taking a deep breath, Kevin stepped forward and wrote his name on the list. A wave of excitement filled the air. "Yes, Kevin's in." "You won't regret this," one girl said with a smile. Kevin wasn't so sure. But as he looked at their happy faces, a small part of him wanted to believe it. That night he couldn't sleep. His mind replayed the day over and over, the smiles, the encouragement, the hope in their eyes. For the first time, Kevin realized something important. Maybe being noticed wasn't so bad. Maybe he was more capable than he thought. And maybe, just maybe, this was the start of something new. Chapter 6. Stepping Out of the Shadows. The next afternoon, Kevin walked into the art room for the first team meeting. His heart pounded. A group of students had already gathered around a large table, talking excitedly about their design ideas. When Kevin entered, they turned to him with smiles. "There he is," one of them said. "Our secret weapon." Kevin felt his face heat up. Secret weapon? Him? The teacher clapped her hands. "All right, team. This year's theme is innovation. We need something unique. Any ideas?" Silence filled the room. The students glanced at each other, uncertain. Then, one girl spoke up. "Kevin, do you have any thoughts?" All eyes were on him again. Kevin swallowed. He had lots of ideas. At home, he sketched designs all the time, but sharing them? That was different. Still, he had come this far. Maybe it was time to step out of the shadows. Slowly, he pulled out his notebook and flipped to a page filled with sketches. "What about this?" he asked, placing it on the table. The team leaned in. Whoa! This is amazing! I love it! Kevin couldn't believe it. For the first time, he wasn't just fixing something that was broken. He was creating something new. And people were listening. Chapter 7. The Turning Point. The team got to work right away. Kevin's design became their blueprint, and everyone had a role to play. Kevin sketched, adjusted, and explained details while others gathered materials. For the first time, he wasn't just working alone, he was collaborating. At first, it felt strange. Kevin, what do you think of this color? Kevin, can you help with this part? People kept asking for his opinion. They valued his input. And slowly, something changed inside him. Instead of feeling nervous, he started feeling confident. By the end of the week, their project was taking shape. The team was excited, and so was Kevin. But then disaster struck. One afternoon, as they were finalizing the model, someone accidentally knocked over a jar of paint. The bright red liquid spilled across the table, ruining part of the design. Gasps filled the room. Oh no! We worked so hard on this. Kevin looked at the mess. For a moment, panic hit him. But then, something clicked. He had spent years fixing things, finding solutions. That was what he did best. Taking a deep breath, he grabbed a brush. Wait, he said. I have an idea. The team watched as he carefully spread the paint, turning the accident into a creative feature. Soon, everyone joined in, transforming the mistake into something even better. When they finished, the project looked more amazing than before. One teammate grinned. Kevin, that was brilliant. And for the first time, Kevin truly believed it. Chapter 8. The Silent Hero. The day of the competition arrived. The school gym buzzed with excitement as teams set up their projects. Kevin stood with his teammates, looking at their final piece. It was bold, creative, and unique, just like they had imagined. A judge approached. Tell me about your project. Kevin's heart pounded. Public speaking wasn't his thing. But before he could step back, one of his teammates nudged him. You explain it best, Kevin. Go ahead. Kevin swallowed hard. He looked at the project, then at the judge. Taking a deep breath, he started talking. At first, his voice was quiet. But as he explained the design, his confidence grew. He pointed out details, described the creative process, and even mentioned how they had turned a mistake into an opportunity. When he finished, the judge nodded, impressed. Very innovative, she said. Great teamwork. As she walked away, Kevin exhaled. That was amazing, one teammate said. You're a natural. Another added. Kevin smiled. Maybe he wasn't the loudest. Maybe he didn't always speak up first. But today, that didn't matter. Because for the first time, he wasn't just the quiet kid in the background. He was part of something bigger. And he had made a difference. Chapter 9. A New Beginning. The results were announced at the end of the event. Kevin and his team held their breath. And the winner for Best Innovation goes to... The announcer paused. Riverside High. Cheers erupted around Kevin. His teammates hugged each other, celebrating. Someone patted his back. We did it! As they walked onto the stage to receive their award, Kevin felt something shift inside him. For years, he had stayed in the background, afraid to step forward. But today, he had taken a chance, and it had changed everything. Later that evening, as he packed up his sketchbook, his teacher approached. You should be proud, Kevin, she said. You have a gift. Don't be afraid to share it. Kevin nodded, feeling something new confidence. At home, he opened his notebook to a fresh page. For the first time, he wasn't just sketching ideas for himself. He was creating something to share with the world. And this was only the beginning. If you were inspired by Kevin's story, leave a comment below. Don't forget to like the video, share it with friends, and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. Hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Let's keep learning and growing together.